As of mid-May, the net worth of America's billionaires grew by 15%. By June of this year, Amazon's founder Jeff Bezos saw an unprecedented $48 billion growth in income. Along with Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg getting an additional $25 billion, these two billionaires have received the biggest gains so far. The founder of the video conferencing app Zoom has also raised the nest egg by over $2.5 billion, and former Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer's net worth has grown by $15.7 billion. Casino magnate Sheldon Adelson saw a $5 billion rise in income, while Elon Musk saw a $17.2 billion increase in wealth. When you sum up these figures, billionaires in the United States have so far raised their overall net worth to $637 billion since the COVID-19 pandemic. After hearing all this, you might just think it's a matter of right place, right time. Well, it's not false. It's not entirely true either. Despite the pandemic, these billionaires began to increase their wealth. And the big question is, how? So future billionaires, keep on watching till the end to find out how these billionaires got richer during the pandemic. But before we begin, make sure to hit the like button and join the Future Billionaires Club by subscribing to our channel and ringing the notification bell to stay up to date with our classy uploads. This isn't the first time billionaires have seen gains, even though a significant majority of Americans have suffered losses. As the mortgage bubble exploded in 2007, house prices dropped by 21% and about 3.1 million properties were foreclosed in the United States. The stock price has fallen by more than 50%. At the end of 2009, 8.8 million Americans have lost their jobs, and the consequences have lingered. From 2009 to 2012, income from the bottom 99% rose by just 0.4%, but income from the top 1% rose at the same time by an incredible 31.4%. And here are the reasons why. Government bailout. Firstly, the government has overwhelmingly given more funding to banks and companies. In 2008, the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act was entered into law, establishing a $700 billion initiative to buy devalued properties from banks. This has been dubbed the Trouble Asset Relief Program, or TARP. Later, President Obama would steer $75 billion in TARP funds to help minimize homeowners' interest payments. This translated to homeowners receiving around 10% of the direct relief that banks and corporations did. Unequal bailouts. When the stock market bounced back, unequal bailouts meant that the wealthy still had money to invest and thus profit, while the middle and lower class did not. In 2008, the Federal Reserve lowered short-term interest rates to almost zero. They would remain so low for almost a decade. This paved the way for a historic bull market on Wall Street that began in 2009 and lasted until March of 2020 when the pandemic hit. The S&P 500 managed to win 462% in that time. That suggests that a $1,000 investment in the S&P 500 at the lowest point of the financial crisis should have returned about $4,620, while anyone who could handle $1 million investment could have made more than $4.6 million. By 2009, the world's richest had increased their overall wealth by 19% to $39 trillion, recovering nearly most of their losses in 1 year. As a matter of fact, the top 1% managed to get 95% of the income gains made from 2009 to 2012. And by this year, the combined wealth of the billionaire class in the US is up by 80%. Paycheck Protection Program. The Small Business Administration has made $349 billion available to small companies under the Paycheck Protection Program. But in 2008, $243 million of that belonged to large, publicly traded companies, some of which were valued at more than $100 million. Even hedge funds made statements to try to tap into what they perceived as free money. On March 16, 2020, just 5 days after COVID-19 was declared a pandemic, the Dow experienced the worst one-day drop in its history. But by June 4, 7 of the richest people in the world had seen their wealth rise by over 50%. Much of what made this happen was a rebound in the equity market sparked by both the Paycheck Protection Program and the Fed's actions. Again, the Fed has lowered short-term interest rates for banks to near zero. And as before, they had promised to hold rates low until the economy gets back on its feet. Larger companies buying the smaller ones. This is a phenomenon that has taken place time and time again. During the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, just 2.5% of the $195 million in recovery funds went to Haitian companies. Most of the remainder has been allocated to DC-based construction companies. And when Hurricane Katrina reached New Orleans in 2005, real estate developer Joseph Canizaro said the clearing created by Katrina offered some very big opportunities. Canizaro was chosen to be a part of a commission to create the Bring New Orleans Back plan, part of which put a halt to reconstruct low-income communities until the residents returned. Of course, people did not return to their demolished houses, and many were foreclosed, opening the way for others to purchase and expand those properties. Government resources in addition to their income. When the time came to restore New Orleans, KBR won no-bid contracts from the federal government worth tens of millions of dollars. KBR received $31 billion in government contracts between 2001 and 2010. Vice President Dick Cheney served as CEO of KBR's parent corporation, Halliburton, for the 5 years leading up to his 2 terms in office. In combination with their vast spending and buying power, billionaires have had political money, in addition to their own wealth, to benefit from global upheavals. And wealth-friendly tax rules and exemptions hold certain billionaires at the top. Low taxes. Legal arrangements such as limited liability partnerships shield personal properties from being compensated for loans related to downturns in business. As set up today, the IRS rules allowed Amazon to pay $0 in taxes 2 years in a row. When the bill was actually due in 2019, it was just $162 million, a measly 1.2% of the company's sales that year. And this isn't just about Amazon. Taxes paid by billionaires have declined by 79% since 1980, and all those are legitimate ways that the rich use to stop paying taxes. In 2017, analysts reported that about 10% of the world's GDP has frozen in offshore tax havens. A 2012 report showed that the richest individuals in the world owned as much as $32 trillion being held offshore. But after analyzing all of this, what should be done to further level the playing field? A new research by the Institute for Policy Studies points out a series of action items. It proposes the development of a pandemic profit-making monitoring company that will go beyond the oversight of federal stimulus funds. It also supports the Corporate Transparency Act, which will create stronger legislation to discourage U.S. billionaires from using shell firms to hide their profits. Since the bill was approved by the House in 2019, it was debated in the Senate but was not put to a vote. Other proposals include an immediate 10% millionaire income surtax, a stimulus package to finance charities, the implementation of a wealth tax, and a cut in the amount of gift and estate tax allowed. Last but not least, the study underlines the need to close down the hidden wealth economy in the country. Now knowing all of this, what else do you think is making these billionaires richer? Let us know by leaving a comment below. And because you're still here, we got some bonus info for you guys. The rich are getting richer during the pandemic. But sure thing, there are also some who were left behind, and the worst filed for bankruptcy. Some internet giants such as Google, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Zoom, Facebook, and Netflix have been able to continue business as normal, while others considered non-essential have been forced to close down or drastically decrease their operations. The fallout involves 51 million Americans filing for unemployment benefits from labeled companies such as JCPenney, Hertz, Neiman Marcus, Pier 1, and Brooks Brothers, wherein staff were applying for bankruptcy protection. Thanks for watching, Future Billionaire. Enjoyed what you saw? Deposit a like, and be sure to join the Future Billionaires Club by hitting subscribe and ringing the notification bell to keep up to date with our entertaining uploads. And check out these other amazing videos we've selected for you next.